Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, I thought I would share with you a cool way that you could DIY your own water feature at home. So guys, to get started, here are a few products you will need. You will need a water pump, any type of tubing, a container and a pot. You could use any type of pot at this stage. Also, for decorative purposes, you will need some pebbles and some bamboo. However, this is optional. You could use anything you got in hand to get the look you're after. Once I've got all of my supplies together, afterwards, I took my measuring tape and measured my pot's dimension to cut my bamboo to size. Here you see me placing the bamboo on top of my pot and roughly marking the two sides before I went ahead and cut it. Afterwards, using my miter saw, I went ahead and cut my bamboo into two strips, followed by a smaller strip that fit the length of my two longer bamboos. Next, I went ahead and used my jute twine and tied one end of my bamboo poles together and wrapped it around. I repeated this process on the other end as well. Afterwards, I went ahead and used my smaller piece of bamboo, which I'll be using as my water spout, and placed it into the center of my bamboo poles and tied it in place using my jute twine. So guys, once you're done, this is how your water spout holder should look like. Next, before I went ahead and started putting this water feature together, I wanted to give this pot a bit of an earthy look, so I decided to make my own chalk paint to paint it on. So guys, DIYing your own chalk paint is so simple and easy to do. So all you need to create your own chalk paint is a 1:3 ratio. That means you need 1 part of plaster, 1 part of water and 3 parts of paint. This paint could be any flat paint of your choice. Next, I went ahead and added my plaster along with my water and mixed it well, making sure it was lump free. Afterwards, I added my paint and then mixed it thoroughly, creating my chalk paint. Now my chalk paint is all ready. Afterwards, I gave my pot 2 generous coats of paint in between dryings and set it aside to dry. Couple of hours later, once my pot was dry, I used an 80 grit sandpaper and gave my pot a slight sanding to give it a distressed look. Afterwards, I used a damp rag and wiped it down clean. So guys, now we are all set to start putting our water feature together. Here I'm using a tabletop water pump. This is our main feature for this project. Next, I went ahead and unboxed this water pump and prepared it for its next step. So guys, this water pump is the perfect size for this project. But if you want to do a bigger project, you might have to get a bigger pump. It is all available in your local hardware store. Afterwards, I went ahead and placed my container into my pot. I was lucky enough to get a container that fits my pot perfectly. This container will be used to fill my water in. Next, I went ahead and placed my pump into my container. Afterwards, I went ahead and took my clear tube and cut it down to the required length. Next, I went ahead and used the attachments that go with the pump and fixed it onto my tube. This process was so simple and easy to do. Afterwards, I used the bamboo water spout that I made earlier and passed the tube through the spout. Next, I went ahead and cut off the excess tube. And then using my glue gun, I secured the water spout onto my pot. Afterwards, I went ahead and used my white pebbles and placed them into my pot, covering the entire container. Next, once I have filled it up halfway through using my pebbles, I decided to fill up the other half with some potting mix. This way, I was able to add some plants into my water feature. So guys, adding these plants into my water feature not only gave this water feature a calming look, but it also helped to cover up all of the wires. Now our water feature is all done guys, and the next step is to fill it up with water, plug it in and see whether it works. So guys, this is how my water feature turned out. It works perfectly and I love it. It was so simple and easy to do. Hope you guys like it too.